Hi everyone, my name is Elaine, and today I'm going to be both summarizing and reviewing the 35th novel in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, Wintersmith, starting with the summary. Chapter 1. The Big Snow. A horrible snowstorm envelops the chalk. The Feegle realize it's the work of the Wintersmith, who has come for the big wee hag. Rob knows she has to handle it on her own and begins his quest to find the hero. 13-year-old Tiffany knows the storm is the work of the Wintersmith as well, and that the lambs are dying in the snow. She doubts that she can do anything, but makes an attempt when her father asks, knowing that the problem is all her fault in the first place. Tiffany begins melting some of the snow with magic, drawing the sheep and her brother from beneath it. Eventually, the Wintersmith appears before her, but none of this has happened yet. It may not at all. Chapter 2. Miss Treason. Tiffany pays Granny a visit. Granny teaches her balance with a demonstration involving tea. Tiffany gives Granny a white kitten. Tiffany returns to Miss Treason's. Miss Treason is the witch Tiffany is staying with as she continues her training. Miss Treason is both blind and deaf. She borrows the eyes and ears of animals to navigate the world. Tiffany and Miss Treason travel into the forest to watch the dancers. The elder witch had insisted. While she is watching the dancers, Tiffany hears a beat which calls to her. Unable to ignore the beat's call, the dance's call, Tiffany joins the dance. Someone else appears and asks, "Who are you?" on page 49. Rob and a few of the Feegle from the chalk arrive at Miss Treason's cottage. The Kelda had been having worrying dreams about Tiffany involving frozen hills, lots of dead people, and the big wee hag wearing a crown of ice and such. They had been sent to check up on her. Now that Tiffany has danced with the Wintersmith, the old witch and the Feegle know that he is looking for Tiffany. When the wind drops, Miss Treason knows that the Wintersmith has found her. The old witch is surprised since she had hidden the girl. Frost begins to slither over the witch's cottage. Chapter 3. The Secret of Boffo. Tiffany learns that the Wintersmith is an elemental god whose job is to craft winters. The dance they had seen was to welcome winter. The Wintersmith intends to meet the girl who was bold enough to dance with him, take part of the dance's empty space. Tiffany discovers that the Feegle have been reading the letters sent between her and Roland as well as her diary in a misguided effort to protect their former Kelda. Tiffany flees the cottage when Miss Treason calls her child in frustration. Tiffany calls the Wintersmith. He comes to her. The Wintersmith returns Tiffany's horse necklace. It burns her skin. The Feegle rescue her and take her back inside the cottage. The Wintersmith departs, the signs of his season with him. Tiffany reveals that she knows Miss Treason uses a novelty and joke shop, Boffos, to maintain appearances. Chapter 4. Snowflakes. Granny informs Miss Tick that they're not going to help Tiffany out of her current predicament. The girl is going to get herself out of the story she danced into. All of the witches and Feegle notice that all of the snowflakes are the same now, and all of Tiffany. Roland's father is quite ill. Roland keeps this information from Tiffany so as not to worry her. Billy fears the snowflakes are just the beginning and there's more to come. Miss Treason crafts a shamble and discovers that she will die the day after tomorrow. After informing Tiffany, they begin to make preparations. The Wintersmith keeps an eye on Tiffany. Miss Tick and Granny notice that the Wintersmith is acting stupid and a tad human and wonder if he has ever met a girl before. They suppose he has, for a moment, during the dance of the seasons. The dance where Tiffany became tangled with summer and winter. The dance she can't escape for a bit longer, which puts her in harm's way. Tiffany hears a voice in her mouth, receives a gift from the Wintersmith. Roses crafted of ice. Hears him ask for her to be his. Petulia, another witch in training, helps Tiffany finish preparing for Miss Treason's going away party and death. Chapter 5. Miss Treason's Big Day. Miss Treason's going away party begins. There is a lot of gossiping amongst the witches. The witches depart and Tiffany tidies up the cottage for the next witch, whom she discovers is going to be Anagramma. Miss Treason gives Tiffany a large dictionary and a few other items as parting gifts. Miss Treason dies. Death comes to collect her. The old witch is buried near the cottage. Chapter 6. Feet and Sprouts. Tiffany gathers her things and leaves the cottage. The Wintersmith comes for her. Granny frightens him away and forces Tiffany to give her her necklace. The Wintersmith has been using it to locate her. Anagramma arrives with her mentor to take over Miss Treason's cottage. Granny and Tiffany head to the Lanker Bridge. Tiffany casts her necklace over the side of the bridge to buy some more time from the danger the Wintersmith presents. The Wintersmith tries to make himself more human to appeal to Tiffany. Tiffany goes to stay with Nanny. She has a dream in which the Wintersmith announces his desire to marry her. When she wakes up, she discovers that she's suffering from ped fecundus, or fertile feet. Her bare feet make things grow. She is prescribed a pair of slippers. Nanny reveals that the Wintersmith is struggling because he feels as though he had fallen in love with a human for the first time and is trying to be human, which is hard for him since he doesn't understand a lot of human things. Miss Tick and Granny arrive at Nanny's. The elder witches reveal that they believe Tiffany is turning into a goddess, the Summer Lady. She makes the summertime and the Wintersmith is convinced Tiffany is her. Granny explains that the story is happening. It's making Tiffany fit into itself. That's on page 237. Chapter 7. On with the Dance. Tiffany learns of the endless dance between summer and winter, how they change places with the season. She had taken the Summer Lady's place even if she hadn't meant to, and was now forced to carry out the story. Tiffany recalls that it had sounded as though two people had spoken to her during the dance. Tiffany learns that eventually she must ensure the winter ends. Tiffany continues her training with Nanny and accompanies her on her rounds. The Wintersmith informs Tiffany that he is making himself into a man. Tiffany becomes so jealous upon discovering that Roland had danced with another girl and looked at her watercolors in one of his letters that she refuses to write him anymore, despite her own actions with the Wintersmith. Chapter 8. The Horn of Plenty. Tiffany convinces the Coven to help the struggling Anagramma. Then she convinces the Wintersmith to honor her only with snowflakes. The Summer speaks to Tiffany. She is not happy with her. Tiffany sends the voice away. The cornucopia falls out of the sky. It's for Tiffany. Tiffany discovers that the cornucopia is the badge of office of the Summer Goddess. That's on page 317. Tiffany begins learning how to use and control the cornucopia. Chapter 9. Green Shoots. Tiffany continues to make plants sprout. The Coven helps Anagramma with her stead. The winter sets in and Tiffany regrets allowing snowflakes. The Wintersmith crafts himself a horse and makes himself into a human male. Then the King of Winter begins his quest to find his queen. The Wintersmith finds Tiffany. He wants to finish their dance. Tiffany doesn't want to dance right now. Anagramma comes to her aid. She destroys the Wintersmith with one of her fireballs. Anagramma sends Tiffany away before the Wintersmith can return. The young witch knows he'll be back. Chapter 10. Going Home. Granny informs the Feegle that they have to do two things for Tiffany. First, they must retrieve the Summer Lady from the underworld. Then, they must locate the hero, Roland, and set his feet on the path that goes down. They agree. Tiffany continues the journey home. The Summer Lady asks if the dance was worth her weakness in making the world into frost. Tiffany does not answer. Chapter 11. Even Turquoise. Tiffany receives a box of watercolors from Roland. It even has turquoise. The Feegle set out on their quest. Tiffany arrives at her home on the chalk. Chapter 12. The Pike. The Feegle convince Roland to be the hero, to retrieve the Summer Lady and help Tiffany. The Feegle help Roland train for his new role. Wentworth catches a large pike. While cleaning the fish, Tiffany finds her horse necklace trapped inside of it. The Wintersmith is shocked she touches it and knows where she can be found. The winter grows worse. Chapter 13. The Crown of Ice. The Feegle realize that the Wintersmith has taken Tiffany. Tiffany finds herself in a palace made of ice. She slaps the Wintersmith for killing some of the lambs. Tiffany wants to leave, thinks he should too. The Wintersmith informs her that she's safe in the palace, from death. Roland and the Feegle make their way to the underworld and begin to travel through its length. They locate Summer. She looks like Tiffany. The Wintersmith tells Tiffany of how he intends to divide the world into realms of warmth and cold. She realizes his plan will kill millions of people and that he doesn't understand humanity or his own madness. Roland wakes the sleeping Summer with a kiss and discovers that she has golden snake eyes. The group begins to make its escape from the underworld. The Wintersmith places a crown of ice on Tiffany's head. She kisses him to return balance to the world. The ice palace melts. The Summer Lady takes her things, like the cornucopia, back from Tiffany, and takes her rightful place. The summer is set to begin. Tiffany makes herself a ring out of the nail the Wintersmith used to help turn himself into a man. She watches the dance again with Granny and notices both Summer and the Wintersmith. She gives him the ring, and he kisses her on the cheek. And that's the end of the novel. Now, on to my book review. I enjoyed this novel. I felt as though it maintained a good pace and was a fun read. With that being said, I also felt as though it was the slowest of the Tiffany Aching novels so far, although it ended abruptly. There was all this build-up to what I thought would be a final showdown between the Wintersmith and Tiffany, with appearances from the Feegle, Roland, and Lady Summer, but that didn't exactly happen. Tiffany got herself out of the story on her own, and Roland seemed to fetch Summer for basically no reason at all. Maybe it was easier for her to take her rightful place because she was on the surface now? I don't know. Like I said, the end seemed super sudden, like there might have been a dropped thread somewhere. I thought it was also a tad odd for Tiffany to accomplish what she did basically on her own. This is an aspect of why I lit that I really struggled with in previous novels as well. In this novel, Tiffany is a teenager, but she finds a way to defeat an elemental god. In the other novels she has appeared in, she's even younger and defeats the Hiver and the Elvish Queen. It just seems a tad unrealistic when she received minimal outside help, a component of this type of literature. I'm not saying it's impossible for a young person to accomplish things on their own or even do hard things on their own. It just seems unrealistic that they do so much on their own in this type of literature. At the same time, however, I admire it in Tiffany's drive to figure things out on her own. I also love the Feegle and how they play off one another, especially when Rob is explaining things to the other Feegle in his clan. I also like how they play off Tiffany, especially when she's upset with them and they start wailing and such. I also noticed that there were some formatting issues in this novel which detracted from the flow of the prose. Many sentences lacked a space after the period and before the next start. It really confused my eyes. Finally, I felt as though the first chapter spoiled the story a bit. It basically told us what was going to happen without telling us what was going to happen. I think I would have preferred if it was not included in the novel. With that being said, it was definitely a fun novel, and I really enjoyed seeing Tiffany continue to mature into a stronger and more confident witch, and a young woman, and interact with the other fledgling witches. So overall, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. And there you have it, my summary and review of Terry Pratchett's Wintersmith. What did you think of this novel if you read it? What did you think of my review and summary? Also, who's your favorite Feegle and why? Who's your favorite fledgling witch and why? Let me know down below in the comments. I always like to know what you guys think. And if you like what you saw here today, please smash that like button until it's blue. Subscribe, ring that bell so you'll know what's up, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye guys!